I hope that I make sense tonight, and I hope I kind of stay on a straight path. I was back to back today since 9 this morning. And by back to back, I mean in between clients, I was having to do 4th grade science. Newton's law. Yeah, don't get me started. Okay. This is much more my wheelhouse, though, so I think I can do it. There is, in the psychology world, a principle, a belief that behavior serves a purpose. Now, I didn't say it was healthy, and it still may serve a purpose. One of the things that comes up a lot for many people, and I'm going to venture to say most people, I think a lot of people just call it different things. Some people will say a negative narrative. Some people will say negative Nancy in my head. Some people will call it critical parent. Whatever that voice is in your head, the one that shows up, and instead of loving on you or giving you validation, it kind of does the opposite, that one. In my program, that voice is called critical parent. And oftentimes in teaching or when I work with clients, that is the label that I give it because I think it's a really good label. Critical parent suggests that there's some purpose for what it's doing or saying. Now, I'm going to add the component of codependency onto that, which means doing all the wrong things for the right reasons. In the criticism of the critical parent, in that negative language or put downs or whatever words you might call it, there is an intention behind it. And not all the time. Sometimes the intention is protection or safety. It's just a real bass-ackwards way of doing it. Let me speak more into the background of it. What we know about human behavior is we recreate what is familiar. Meaning, if I grow up in a home of dysfunction, if I grow up in a home of unpredictability, if I grow up in a home of absence, meaning there's no one there, if that goes unhealed or not repaired in my adult life, I'm going to recreate that. That doesn't mean it's what I want. That means it is what is familiar. And all the coping mechanisms, the accommodations, the compensations that I built up to that point knows what to do in that type of environment. Doesn't mean it's what I want. It means it's what's familiar. So when my world is happening around me and my critical parent is showing up, it's probably some type of signal or sign that there's some old lack of safety happening. What's happening? What pattern is coming up? What is happening to me or around me that's causing me to feel powerless? Now, I'm going to color it in a little bit with my story. And if this isn't your story, that's a good thing. And or if your story maybe can make a little bit more sense because I colored in with this, good. In growing up, if we were too loud, we would get in trouble for walking loud. If we were laughing or having fun too loud, we would get in trouble because we're being too loud. If we had tears or were angry or were arguing, we would get in trouble for being too loud. Are you picking up on a theme? My parents had this sensory thing where when things got too loud, they would become dysregulated. And the yelling, the criticism or the yelling would be to make it stop. Because there was feelings involved and they didn't know what to do with feelings. our feelings as kids would dysregulate them as parents. And I'm the youngest of 4 girls, so my parents were always outnumbered. But whether they were together or apart, it was just bad. If we're happy, it was bad. If we were mad, it was bad. If we were sad, it was bad. Everything was always bad. Any type of feeling or emotion, any loudness beyond a whisper. As you can imagine, that might look really controlled and rigid. And their intention was to make it stop. Back then, as a kid, I probably couldn't see that. I know I didn't see that intention. And I know I didn't realize that it was because they didn't know what to do. And it was all the wrong things for the right reason. It was an attempt to slow things down in a bass-backwards way, by degrading us, by yelling at us, by controlling us. I'm very careful with how I word this because I have yelled at my children because they were too loud. This is not about blame and fault. This is about fact. And I am so grateful for the insight I have today and the recovery I have today because my parents did not have that. I am not excusing it. I am not justifying it. I just want to paint a picture. So, critical parent would show up anytime I feel like I'm too much of anything. I'm too pretty. I'm too dressed up. I'm not dressed up enough. I'm too loud. I'm too happy. Remember when some of you might remember when I started my program, I would say frequently, is this normal? Is this normal? Because the rigidity and the control in our home growing up as a Navy brat was so strong. It was like, I don't know, like what do other people do? So when you think of today as an adult and critical parent is happening, there may be something underlying that or underneath that it's doing it all the wrong things for the right reasons, but there's a level of dysregulation, or there's a lack of safety somewhere, or there's a need of protection from something, someone. Now, could that be something we're powerless over? Of course, because the time that I'm describing when critical parent would come at me was when I was completely powerless. I was a little kid. We are powerless. The only thing we have power over is our body and food. That's it. So as an adult, if critical parent becomes loud or she starts surfacing again, and she's been like in hibernation for a little while, thanks to recovery, it's probably serving a purpose. It might be raising a red flag because something is happening that's causing me present day to feel powerless. Now, I know I say this a lot, and I'm very proud of my now 19 years of recovery. And it doesn't exempt me from anything. It still happens. I just learned that, okay, wait, this is a flag. I'm not seeing something. Because sometimes I need it reflected back to me in order to see it. Like, it's so a part of my world that I don't even notice it, which is usually our self-talk before recovery. If you worked with me in your first few sessions, I pissed so many people off with this. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because everybody would say, you piss me off when you say that, Amber. How do you talk to yourself? And the things that you say to yourself, would you say to your kid or to your best friend? And usually the answer is no. That's critical parent. It's doing all the wrong things for the right reasons. But before recovery, it's so consistent and constant because we're trying to create safety that once we get into recovery, it takes a little bit of a gap, a little bit of relief from it for us to be able to see it and notice, wow, that was every day, all day. And then when it surfaces back up, it's like, wait a minute, what's happening? What tool am I missing? What am I not doing? And it may be a time where there's something I'm missing that I need a safe person to reflect back to me. Or it may be something I'm very aware of and I'm already working on. I'm already working on how do I reestablish some more safety in this relationship, or how do I create more balance over here with work life. I may already be working on it, but that doesn't mean that my body's not going to be triggered by it. It means that maybe it's bothering me more than I realize it's bothering me. I want to reinforce that this does not make critical parent okay. It does not make critical parent good. It reinforces that sometimes our blueprint, what was put on us, what was given for us, what was modeled for us, is learning what not to do rather than learning what to do. And to utilize our level of recovery requires me to not be in survival. If I'm in survival, everything's happening too fast and I can't see it. So all my tools are about slowing me down. So then I say, why is that bitch in my head being so loud? Because that's what I call her. She's very bitchy. She's very mean. And I need you to simmer down. Like, it takes my level of consciousness for me to be able to realize it and hear it, which that level of awareness is what I call the gift of recovery. Without the awareness, I don't know that it's happening. And when I slow things down and use my tools, I can start talking about it. I can start asking questions. I can connect with a safe person. I start exploring and exfoliating. What do I need? Because my internal barometer is going off because something's not okay. And although that might not feel good, my body's working. My barometer is going off. It's doing what it's supposed to. It's telling me we're not okay. And now as an adult in recovery, now I can do the things to keep me safe. Now I know how to keep me safe. My little one didn't have any of those tools, which is why she's the one that's triggered.